Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Xochitl. If you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with all of my videos, especially because we have lots and lots of videos coming up recently. And if you subscribe, you can keep up with them all. If you guys are not new here, thank you so much for coming back, hanging out with me. I had a request to do this video, so I wanted to film it. I had multiple requests. I was like, let's do this video because I feel like this is something helpful that a lot of people want to learn, and that is how to apply false lashes. I have my false lashes here. As you see, I ain't got nothing on my eyes, prepped the face, and I'm just gonna do a step-by-step what I do, what I've learned to apply my false lashes. And the biggest thing I can say when attempting how to put on false lashes is to not give up. It's definitely a trial and error basis. It takes a while. Practice with any type of makeup application. It just takes practice. It's just getting used to it. It's just also choosing the right type of lash for your eye shape. So let's not waste much time. But first off, the lashes and the lash brand that I specifically recommend for beginners are definitely Ardell's, and the ones that I recommend are the Ardell Wispies. These are wispy, so these are a little bit bigger. For those of you who aren't ready to go big, go home, these to me are like chill lashes. But I feel like for extreme beginners, you're like, I don't know, they have Ardell Demi Wispies. I think those are great for everybody, whether you want to wear those are like my just casual, let me go for jog lashes, but that's how casual they feel like for me. I feel like when I first started wearing lashes, I went a little too big and it just felt weird and uncomfortable. So I feel like for extreme beginners, maybe start with the Demi Wispies and kind of work up your way from there. Those are still like a nice, very natural glam lash. These are a step up if you're ready to graduate, or if you're someone who is like, I am ready for the big lashes, go for it. But I believe these are the wispies. Some reason it says 113 black. But basically, I think a lash that specifically is like a wispy lash, I feel like those are great beginner ones. But I recommend the Ardell ones, the Demi Wispies and the Wispies specifically because their lash band is not very thick. It's very easy to use. It's just like it kind of forms to your eye the best, because that's the thing too to kind of look out for is what is the lash band like. This is a very thin lash band, so therefore it's more beginner friendly, user friendly in general. Some lash bands can be very, very thick, and I wear lashes all the time now, and there's definitely some I understand are harder to work with. Also, the better you kind of clean your lashes off, you can reuse them. There's definitely the thicker lash bands definitely last a little bit longer, but if you clean these up, you can totally use them as well. So when I get a pair of lashes, one thing to know, not all lashes are just going to be, you know, just add some glue and add to your eyes. A lot of these need to be trimmed and shaped for your eye specifically. It's rare. There definitely are some people who can just take this whole strip and use the whole strip, but this is definitely something you can customize for your own eye shape. I always cut down my lashes, and make sure when you're going to cut down lashes, because I have done this, I do this by accident sometimes, make sure you're cutting the outer edge, so the longer side, as opposed to inner. So this will kind of tell you like which is for which eye. So this is going to be for this eye, my right eye, and this one's going to be for my left eye. But there's definitely the inner eye corner, which is always going to be a little bit smaller. And then there's the outer eye corner, which is going to be a little bit longer, which is where you might trim. If you're someone who these fit your eyes perfectly, then, you know, good for you. Some of us still need to trim. And you can trim based off of what's going to look good on your eye or what your comfort level is. Some people really go ham and just like cut these in half and just use the inner corner. When pulling it out, don't drop it. When pulling it out, I do like to pull from the outer edge instead of like pulling it off from the inner edge. I've done that as well. Let me tell you about all my mistakes, because sometimes when you pull too hard and it's like really stuck on there, you can pull off a part of the lash, and it's from the outer edge and I'm going to cut off anyway. That's totally fine, but it's from the inner edge, kind of ruins the way it looks. So I already know where to cut for this lash, what do you call it, brand specifically, and you can kind of get rid of some of the glue here. But if you want, so what I'll usually do is I'll take the lash and no glue, no nothing, but I'll kind of like put it on my eye and kind of measure out and see how much do I need to cut. So kind of adjust it without glue where you might want it, and then you can kind of hold from there. I would suggest not putting the lash, like sticking it all the way in your inner corner, because one, that's going to be poking you all day. I like to like apply the inner lash maybe somewhere around here down this way, so it's like my natural lashes can still kind of, you know, flick on through, but I never put it like right on the inner corner. Like that is the most uncomfortable thing I can just imagine. So somewhere around here or less, depending on, you know, experiment with it, have it maybe just like the outer lash, maybe move it in a little bit more and see what's most comfortable for you. But when I'm kind of like measuring it out, that's where I'll kind of start what looks more natural for your eye shape. I'll kind of hold it there, and then I'll see like, okay, this is about where I want it, where it's gonna look best, and this is how much I have to trim off. And yeah, so that's about mine. So for mine specifically, I already know the way that I like to wear mine. For the wispies, for my eye size, I don't have really big eyes. I usually trim off, so 1, 2, 3. I usually take off 3 of them. So that's about how much I take off for this, usually the wispies and the demi wispies. Every lash is going to be different, but I wear these like all the time, so I already kind of know. Next thing you can kind of do, you can do this now, you can do it later after you applied one lash, but just to have the boys at both prepped at once, since you already know how much to cut off for one lash, you can go ahead, take the second one and do that as well. So once again, up to the third, 1, 2, 3. And now you got that bad boy ready too. So next thing that I like to do, something that kind of makes a difference, especially depending on the thickness of the lash band. These don't necessarily need it already. The Ardell's, I feel like they're just like easily adjustable, easily kind of formed to the shape of your eye, but especially for thicker lash bands, fresh off of the container, is I like to make sure it's clean too. I like to take a brush handle, something like this size, not too thin but not too thick either, and I like to kind of just wrap the what do you call it, the lash around it. It still has a little bit of lash glue, so it kind of stays there. So it's kind of taking that shape, a little cupping shape, so it can really just, you know, get into your eye as you kind of put it on there, and really just, you know, you can lay down those edges easily, especially with thick lash bands. I feel like, because those, they're just like a little bit more flat, straight, but you want them to kind of, you know, circle in kind of how your eyes are. So you kind of want them, the edges to kind of come in like this. So that's why I'll kind of hold it here just to give it a little bit more of the form that I want. So something too thick isn't going to kind of round it out as much as you want. So something like this size, a little bit thicker is fine. I think as small as this is totally okay. You don't want to wrap it totally around and get your eyelashes stuck on your handle. But just give it a couple minutes while it still even kind of has that fresh off the container glue. And now it's just like a little bit more rounded out. So when you pop it on the eye, it just like, it's a little bit easier for you. Next, what I'm going to do is take my lash glue. I specifically love the brand Duo, so I used to always use the squeezy tube one that had the pink lettering on there, and it was a black type of glue, and it would dry down black. And now, actually, I was going to get that one. They ran out, so I was like, oh, I guess I'll just get this. It was a lash emergency. I needed glue. This is all I had. So I got this Duo lash glue. This one has the brush on tip, and I think I like this one. Like, if I'm gonna repurchase again, which did I already? I can't remember. I don't think so. This lasts so long. I feel like I use it less, and it's just easier to kind of brush it onto the lash. I don't know how I was doing before. We really gotta like squeeze and make sure not to over like glob it up. I highly recommend now the brush on one. Both, I think the longevity of them are great. I gotta say Duo in general though, like the lasting power of these lashes are pretty well. The biggest thing is to make sure to put a little bit extra on the edges. I think that's gonna make the biggest difference for you. So also take into consideration how long the lash glue takes to dry down. So every lash glue is different, and I feel like that's going to be the experimentation point. But what I also like about the brush on one, I feel like it just dries quick. I feel like the pink bottle one, or the pink lettering one, the black adhesive, that one, it took forever. I was like, oh my god. So this one dries pretty quick. And let's just put, how about we just put it on by the time I'm done explaining that. Okay, so you want to take some, I like to take a little bit extra, and I'm just going to add it to the lashes, the lash band. Try to get the inside as much as possible as opposed to globbing it on the outside. And I like to get just a little bit excess on the edge and on the edge. So those bad boys really hold down. The inner corner, I feel like some reason just likes to stand up. So this one dries down pretty quick. So now what I'm going to do, you can grab what I call my pinzas. So these are my tweezers and a mirror. But this one usually dries down pretty quick. You want it to be tacky. You don't want it to be dried down completely. So you kind of want that middle sweet spot. And it's really going to depend on your lash glue. This one will probably be ready in like 10 seconds or so. So as it's drying down, I like to hold it from the middle. And you can like shake it a little bit and let it start to dry down. And what we're gonna do is hold the mirror, and you want the mirror to be looking up at that awkward angle, but you want the mirror below you. And the way you're gonna bring your lashes is from the top while you're looking, and you kind of want to get it down stuck in the middle. You really want to lay it down there, and then we're going to lay down one edge and the other edge. I personally like to lay down my inner corner edge first. Some people do the outer, some people do the inner, but I feel like that one is just the pesky one that never wants to like sit. So let me get here for you guys. So this should be good already. No more than 30 seconds for this one. So let's come get it down in the middle and make sure that bad boy is hanging on for dear life. And let's get that edge. You really want to get as close to the lash line as possible. And what I'm going to do now is adjust. So I'm kind of going to squeeze it. You can just be careful, don't squeeze your eye. I really want that guy to stay down there. So I'm just trying to squeeze this with my natural lashes. Another thing you can do is kind of like take the edge here and really hunker that boy down. But the inner edge is the one that's just never likes to stick. So I always give that one extra attention. And that's pretty much it. So as you can see, I kind of laid it down right here. So not all the way to the inner corner. You can experiment as to what's going to feel most comfortable for you. But if you want to make sure your lash is on, it's going to stay on. What I'll do is after like I've kind of placed it down, we've got it down, I'll go like this and I'll go like this. So I'll just kind of make sure ain't nothing going nowhere. Lash one. I always feel like there's going to be an eye that's a little bit easier than the other one. So I feel like for me, my right eye is definitely easier. Maybe just because I'm a righty to begin with. And it's just naturally like that as opposed to like my left eye. So once again, let's wrap it around. And I feel like also for beginners, why I say maybe use like a lighter lash, this to me is lighter, like the wispies or the demi wispies, which is even more natural, because sometimes the thicker lashes can feel a little bit heavy and just feel weirder. But hey, if you're in it to win it, go for it. Go for the thick lash. So once again, going to go ahead. I'm gonna have to buy a new one soon. I like to get just a little bit like a thicker amount of lash glue, just so I can like coat, really glob on the edge. But you don't want to glob on too much. You just kind of, I'll show you guys. If anything, on the edges. This guy right here. So you should just cover like the inside of the lash band. So nothing crazy, but just kind of like that. That's the lash band. And we're going to let that. Also, make sure, the one thing that's kind of can be hard is maneuvering around your lashes. So it's kind of nice that I don't have like crazy long lashes. But maybe if you have like a liquid eyeliner that hasn't dried down yet, careful, let that liner dry down. And also make sure as you're placing it, your, what do you call it? Your tweezers don't get stuck together, because as you're like kind of squeezing certain spots, or like if you got it on the glue, it's gonna glue the tweezers to your lash, so when you put it down and let go, it's gonna come off. I have done everything. It's a journey. It's a journey. It's a lash journey. But once you figure out how to put on lashes, like especially if you don't have long lashes, like it's hard to stop. Let me tell you, I love them. Like these are like my casual everyday lashes. The demi wispies, like what? Like let's run a 5K real quick. So once again, we're gonna do the left eye, which is a little bit trickier for me. It's still not as bad, but we're gonna go ahead and take this, take the mirror from the bottom, and we're gonna bring it from the top. You really want to get it as close to the lash, and I feel like this one I'll do my left first and then my inner, whatever works for you, but I'll put that extra tension on the inner corner. sus. You got both your lashes on. Practice, practice, practice. If you mess up, just take it off, let it dry off, take off the glue, try again. But these are just some tips and tricks. Something else that I do, kind of a little cheat for beginners and even for me now, because, you know, anybody got time. But if you guys notice, I already had like just like a lash line of liner on, just like something thin, if you want a little bit thicker, whatever you like, but that kind of helps hide the lash glue or like the lash band in case you're still kind of working, you can't get it right on the edge, like it's totally okay, you can cheat that way, but you really just want to get as close as possible. Last thing that I will do is I will add mascara so I can blend my false lashes with my real lashes, especially if you're doing like a full-on kind of like makeup look eyeshadow. A lot of the times the eyeshadow or whatever powders you're dealing with on your face, but specifically eyeshadow, is gonna fall on your real lashes, so those are gonna look a little bit powdery as opposed to your falsies. So a way to hide them is just take a, you know, mascara, any mascara of your choice, and just kind of blend your falsies and your real lashes just so you can kind of hide them. They're coated and you can't really see them, especially if your lashes maybe a little bit longer. You might want to do this, so this just kind of blends them together, and especially if you want to get that inner corner. But definitely wait once your lashes have dried, because if not, you're just gonna accidentally probably get rid of your actual false lashes. And you know, you can do your lower lash line. Who doesn't do their lower lash line? Is it just you don't like the way it looks? Is it too messy? I'm curious. I know there's some people who don't like to do their lower lash line. I feel weird when I don't. I'm like, oh my god, I'm incomplete. I feel like I like it. It makes a difference. There's some people who don't. Let me know why. One final thing you can do, I think, especially if maybe you didn't want to do like a liquid liner or like a shadow liner on your top lash line, just to kind of hide the distinction, or if you did and you just kind of want to hide it even more, you can go in with a like kohl pencil and just go on the inner part of your lash line. I know a lot of people don't like that. I have contacts, I touch my eye all the time, so I really don't care. But you can go in with like a kohl pencil, like right from the inside up, and it really just kind of hides, maybe like if you have your little skin peeking through like that, and your actual like liquid liner, your liner that you have on top. Something you can do. I don't always do it. I forget to do it. I don't care to do it. I'm a little bit lazy, so, but this works for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this eyelash application tutorial. Really quick and simple, but I get it. It's a struggle. It takes some time. Believe me, my lashes weren't looking as good when I first applied them, but trial and error, you know, just go at home. Give yourself 5-10 minutes to try on every day before you're ready to take them out into the world. But always still what I do, kind of like my Girl Scouts motto, carry the items that you need with you. Always carry your lash glue. What I always pack whenever I wear lashes, because you just never know, maybe you're gonna be caught in like a rainfall or something, you know, crazy madness. I always carry my lash glue, my tweezers, and some extra liquid liner and mascara. I carry the extra liquid liner and mascara if in the case that maybe my lash comes off. It does sometimes take a little bit of your liquid liner off, so depending how thick that was. But or I take my liquid liner and mascara in the case that, you know what, I'm over it, I need to take these lashes off, and I'll just add some mascara and stuff like that. So that's something for you guys if you're like, oh, I can't stand this. But I feel like after you wear them for a while, you really can't tell. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you guys end up trying this, if your lash game gets stronger. Let me know what your favorite brand of lashes are. I think for me, something simple, everyday, affordable. The fact that they come in a multi-pack are the Ardell lashes, the Wispy specifically. I also like the Salon Perfect lashes from Walmart. I feel like those two are great beginner lashes. I'll list down the brand below. There's two of them that I like from the Salon Perfect. I'll list those names. I forget what numbers they were, but those are hard to get. I feel like a couple years ago, Nicole Guerrero really like just was all about them. So those kept getting sold out at Walmart. So whenever I can, I think it's like a 5-pack for $10. The other brands that I love for maybe thicker lash bands, something a little bit more glam, are the Batty Bee lashes. I totally need to pick up a pair, and they have Afterpay, which is dangerous. And the other brand are the Cocoa Lashes Queen Bees. So Queen Bees are like $7 per lash. Batty Bees are a little bit more expensive, so that's why I don't buy them all the time. And if not, Ardell and Salon Perfect from the drugstore. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to keep up with all of my videos, and I'll see you all next time.